One, two, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. So, first of all, I'm trying to get a handle how my audio picks up or doesn't. I am a firm believer. Oh, by the way, I am the Colonel Hector Bravado of Breakup Gaming Society, home of America's least responsible board game podcast. I'm just experimenting right now with today's stream. I'm just throwing the camera on with a very made up at the last minute setup. I'm a firm believer in just doing stuff rather than sitting around waiting for perfect anything. So, yeah, I don't really know how I sound, but what better time to screw up than when you have approximately 0 viewers? So I'm just doing this for practice. If any of you stumbled across this, here's the object today. We are going to play a solo game of the dice drafting game Sagrada, which I've been doing a lot of lately. I found it an enjoyable puzzle, even more so than uh, the two-player times I tried it out. It's extremely difficult in solo mode, but I seem to enjoy engaging with it anyway, even up until turns 7, 8, 9, 10. Things invariably seem to collapse on you. So here, this is just an unscripted thing, just to see how the hell it looked and sounded. Yeah, it says I'm getting some pickup on the mic, but it seems very dim. That's another thing we're going to have to fix. Anyway, Sagrada. It's your job in Sagrada to build a stained glass window that scores a lot of points. The elements that you use to build the stained glass elements are, repeated myself there, are tons and tons of multicolored dice. 90 all told in the bag across 5 different colors. All right. There are some basic placement restrictions, but to do a solo game, first thing you do, this is the neat touch. There are all sorts of different patterns of various difficulty levels. I'm just going to pick one at random. I'm not looking at any of these. See, I'm not a cheater. I'm a bad streamer, but I'm not a cheater. I'm just going to pull one blind here. So here, this is the sun catcher pattern. Its difficulty is indicated by those 3 pips. This makes it one of the easier windows to build. Then once you've got your decided pattern, look at how that just slides in there. Isn't that nice? Now, a couple ground rules. When you place dice in your board, the standing rule is, regardless of what pattern you chose, is that you may not place dice orthogonally to each other that have the same color or the same value. So if I put a yellow die here, cannot put one here or here. Then, of course, there's the overlay of certain requirements for the build of this window that you have to follow as well. So you have to follow those base ground rules. Plus, for example, you got to put a purple die here, yellow die here. These are 5. You follow, right? Good. Now, I'm just going to get right into setup, and then you'll just see me cuss my way through this game, which I usually lose, but always seem to have a good time trying nonetheless. First of all, we're going to figure out what scoring conditions we're going for. These are 5 cards that represent the 5 colored dice. I'm just going to pick 2 at random. Purples and reds. So one of the ways I can score in this setup is getting a high pip count, either purple or red. Now the hitch is at the end of the game when you're scoring, you can't score them both. You have to pick whether you have the most of one or the other, then pick that. Then there's 2 additional scoring conditions I can go for. I think there's 12 of these. Let's see what else they want me to do in this window. I can score 5 points every time I match the column color variety criteria. That means a vertical row with no repeated colors. So that'll score me 5 points every time I pull that off. Additionally, and here's a horizontal condition. This is also worth 5 points every time I pull off. Row shade variety. Score 5 points every time I place 5 dice in a horizontal row without repeating their value. So, by the way, I'm bad at this. I don't pretend to be good, but I have figured out some of the things that make it go. My next job is to pick some tools. Now you can dial your difficulty level up or down by restricting how many tools you have. These are thematic little things. Look at that. Grossing pliers. We all need a pair of grossing pliers at one point in our life. Do we not? You can play the game with one tool, which seems to me frightfully hard, bordering on impossible. All the way up to 5 tools, which is the easiest setting. I don't know why. I've just been playing with 4. So I'm going to draw 4 of these tools and lay them out. Quick note about the tools, then I'm going to dive in. Notice the tool has a name. So I've drawn the tap wheel, a lens cutter, the grossing pliers, and an Eglamise brush. Apparently these are all real things that you can use to build a stained glass window, which I have no desire to attempt. That's why I do stuff like this. You'll notice that they're colored squares. When you're playing the solo mode, you need to burn one of the dice in that turn's draft to activate it. So each of these give you little ways to wiggle, especially during these rounds, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. There's an emotional cycle with this game. 1 through 4, it's like, oh, this is really fun. Wow, cool. I'm putting little dice here and there. 5, 6, 7, it's like, oh, this board's getting kind of crowded. Then in 8, 9, 10, your game collapses 95% of the time. That's because your score is partially determined by the value of all the dice that the leftovers, or the remnant pieces that wind up on your round counter track. So there's a series of overlays you have to watch. You have to manage the value of the dice piling up in here. My general experience is once it gets too much over 40, I don't do very well. Then second, you always have to remember which of these scoring conditions you're working toward, which of the tools you have left, etc. So let's go. You ready to play? Here we go. This usually moves pretty fast. So to start a turn as a solo gamer, take 4 dice and roll them. These are the dice I have to work with this turn. A turn consists of, you can, on each of your turns, do either or both or neither of 2 actions. One, drafting and placing a die, so like so, and or activating a tool, which you can do in either order. I tend to try to save the tools until the board gets tight, because sometimes when you roll 5, 6, 6, 5, and you realize there's a bunch of beefy dice that are going to end up in my discard pile, that's when I try to use tools so that my target score doesn't vanish into the horizon of possibility. So here we go. I like this purple 6. Look at that. Purple is one of the colors I'm going to get rewarded for having a lot of. Now, your initial placement has to be made from an edge or corner. Just so happens the space asks for purple die. Very easy. There we go. Oh, look at this. Now I have a 5, 3, and a 1 here. Okay. I don't want to put that yellow 5 here, as inviting as that is, because I'm setting myself a trap, because then I can't put a 5 next to it. That would be breaking the rules. So I've got to do I might have already backed myself into a corner, because I'm doing more talking than thinking right now. But maybe if I just put that purple 6, say, on one of these less restricted spaces up here, I can then put the yellow 5 next to it, like so. Not not the greatest, but like I said, what I'm doing is trying to get different numbers, is not duplicate numbers horizontally, nor duplicate colors vertically. I'm going to lose track of that badly. Now there's a 3 and 1 I haven't used. That's going to go onto my round 1 space. So right now I already have 4 points added to my final target score. Boom. Look at that. Another purple 6. I'm just going to roll with that because I found that hitting those high single color targets are good. So I've put the purple 6 there, which I can do diagonally. I can't set it next to the other purple 6, and there's a 5 next door, so I'm good there. And then I have a purple 5 as well. And there's that 5 sitting there. It's already a bad placement. So what I may have to do here to keep things moving is bite the bullet. Play this yellow 1 down in this row. At least 6 points left over that goes on to my round 2 board. Not ideal. I try to generally keep my average discard space. You really got to keep it as close as you can to under 5 points. Otherwise, the target score just gets too hard to hit, at least for me and my ability. So this time we have a yellow 5, blue 3, green 2, green 1. See, I've already messed myself up here. I'm not supposed to duplicate colors vertically. I've already set it up so that if I put a purple here, I won't score that row. That's how easy it is to mess this up, especially when you're just jump into a live stream. No goddamn idea. Oop, I just cussed. Can you cuss on YouTube? I was trying to remind myself not to cuss, but I tend to do a lot of cussing in regular life. I'll keep an eye on that. Place that yellow 5. Nope, that's a problem. Oh, can't put either one up. It's another 5. I don't know why this board's already looking really ugly. It's uglier than a bucket of butts. I think I might. This is pretty lame to do this early in the game, but I'm just going to do it. So before taking my drafting turn, I'm going to use this 3 to activate one of my 4 tools, which can only be activated once per game. Put the die there on the card to indicate it's been used and may not be used again. It's the Eglamise brush. I can move any 1 die in my window, ignoring color restrictions, but I have to obey all other placement rules, such as not placing 2 adjoining dice, etc., etc. No matter what I do, what I want to do is fix this mess up. Take this purple dude out of there. I'm going to bump him a row down. That clears up this row so I can at least start building it correctly again. And but I still have my yellow 5 problem. That didn't solve anything, did it? Ah, hell. Ah, already getting a migraine. What? Here we go. I'm just going to eat a big leftover score. So here's a green 2, which is going to go into that top row, which calls for something of 2 value. So I put that in there. So that was my first turn. I used the Eglamise brush, move that 6, then place my 2. I can still. It's another nice part about using tools. It's because it means only 1 dice is going to end up here. 1 die is going to end up here in my discard. So, boy, that yellow 5 is just a booger already. I mean, I could just say this row's a sacrifice, dump it somewhere. I'm going to place a green 1 right here, sort of keep my options open, and my yellow 5's going into my discard. See, this moves fast. We're already on turn 4. 4 new dice come out. Yeah, pretty bag right there. Oh, gorgeous. Yeah. Okay. All right. So I got a red and purple 5. Oh boy, that red five's a winner. Look at that. Look how I can stick that right there, and it has no conflicts in color and value with its neighbors, and it preserves both numerical diversity that way and color diversity that way. Now, if I can get a green or a blue into that row, into this bottom of this row, and not mess it up, I already have a 5-point scoring row right there. However, I have neither green nor blue, so. Okay, remember how I used the Eglamise brush to move the purple person over? Look at that. That now gives me the freedom and liberty to use this purple space. So there's 2 vertical rows that I have on the verge of getting a score if things don't go sideways on me. At least 3 points left over. Goes on to my round 4, round 5. So I got a blue 5, a red 3, green 2, and a blue 1. So remember we were talking about needing some greens and blues? Here's the thing though, if I just use these 2, I'm gonna have 8 points left over. So I'm gonna do a little bit of this and a little bit of that. Anything right here, here's a yellow 5 and a purple 1. Top, and then we have a purple, red, yellow vertical row. I'm gonna pop a green 2 in there. Boom. Look at that, there's a scoring vertical row. And then I wanna see if I can, oh, I definitely can, look at this. This is kind of handy. So this space right here is calling for a 5, which I can do. That gives me 5-1 going this way, okay, and doesn't ruin anything. And I've got a green, purple, blue going that way, which means the yellow or red, I could complete another scored row. 4 points left over. Here we go, round 6. This is the part where things start to get tight. The nice part is I have not yet used 3 tools. I still have 3 tools at my disposal. It's supposed to be one of the easy rows. I have a blue 5 again, yellow 4, and then a purple and a red 1. Those blue 5s just like showing up. They don't score me a lot of points either. If I put it there, that's 2 5s in that row. Can't put it there because there's already a purple 5 next to it, and I can't use orthogonal, horizontal, or vertical neighbors that have the same value or color. I'm going to do something in the meantime that seems to be a no-brainer that'll make me feel good. There's a yellow 4. If I put it at the bottom of that row, boom, green, purple, blue, yellow in a row. That'll score me 5 points if I don't tear up the row or do something stupid. So, and just in the interest of not having a 5 go onto my discard track, drive up my target score, I'm just going to drop this blue 5 here. That means I'm basically sacrificing the row shade variety score in that top row. It's a dump. It's a sacrifice. 2 left over, going on to round 7. What do we got? Purple 5, green 4, blue 2, and a green 2. I like this green 4 here. That gives me 1, 5, 4, 6 going that way. Good. And then blue green going north and south, which keeps me in the hunt in terms of not messing up. That also, because you're supposed to place stuff adjacent, gives me access to the next row over. Boom. I'm going to dump this purple 5 here just out of exigency's sake. Or I'm gonna save the tools. That means I'm basically sacrificing any horizontal row here or horizontal score there. 2 2s go on the discard track. And now we're coming up on turns 8, 9, and 10, or as I like to call them, the part where you capsize. Here we go. Bunch of low value ones. Purple 3, purple 1, blue 1, and a red 1. That's pretty interesting. Purple 3 right here gives me 2, 3, 4, 5 with a possible horizontal score with the right green die. And it's not out of sync with the other colors. And look at this. Blue 5, blue 4, or green 4, purple 3 with a unrestricted thing. Look at that. I'll just drop this red 1 right in there. So now I've made 3 vertical rows that should score 5 points each. Not bad. Not bad for round 8. Usually things are a lot harder by now. Then again, I did draw an easy board. So turn 9, the penultimate turn. Green 6, blue 5, and a pair of purple 4s. Wow, that's really cool. Look at this. This green 6. This lower square here, 1's a green. And that's nifty because that gives me 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That matches the row shade variety criteria, which means I've just scored 5 points going that way. Way to go, me. Fine. Except here's where things get a little tight. All right, I've got more tools left than I have turns, so I'm just gonna start burning these. So I'm gonna use this die to activate the Grosjean pliers. And that means I can take one of these dice after I draft them, and I can decrease or increase the value of it by 1, albeit I am not allowed to roll a 6 to a 1 or vice versa. So this could become. I don't know if that's a lot of help or no. Right. Wow. One, 4, 5, 6. All right. I could turn this 5 into a 4 or a 6. Is that really good? It is. So I use the plier ability, turn this 5 into a 6. It then gets along with these guys nice and tight. So this isn't bad, actually. I've scored another vertical row. I've got 1, 4 left over. Here we go. This is the last turn. We're here. Wow. Big numbers. Yellow 6, 2 yellow 5s, and a blue 1. Hardly any way to optimize this. Now I could use the blue die and so I have 2 tools left. However, I can only use one of them because look, this one takes a green die to activate. I have 3 yellows and a blue. So the lens cutter, I'm not even gonna be able to use. I let that go by the wayside. However, I can use the tap wheel. That means moving 2 dice around. I don't know if I want to just moving stuff around. I may just place what I can and just eat the rest just to get to the scoring. Yellow 6 up here. And then, oh my gosh, I don't know if I've ever pulled this off before. I can squeeze that blue 1 in here. Here's the bad part. 2 5s left over on my 10 spot on my track. That just drove my target score up 10 points. Although I have seen much, much worse surges during the 8, 9, and 10. Here's the cool part. I managed to fill the whole grid. That's important because when you're tallying the final score, every empty space costs you 3 points. So we're just going to take the score. So the first thing we're going to do is figure out our target score. So I'm going to quickly add up all these die sitting in my discard checks: 10, 14, 16, 20, 23, 27, 20, 29, 34, 35, 40, 44. Pretty good control of our discard count. Now I get to pick and score the total pip value of one of these colors. So what did I do better in? Oh, no question. I only got 2 reds in them, but I got some high value purples out there. 11, 17, 20, 25 points in purple. That's beautiful. Then we're going to see how I scored in column color variety. See, look at that. Yellow, green, blue, purple. 1. Purple, red, yellow, green. That's another 5 points. Green, purple, blue, green. Boom. I don't think I've ever done. Wow. Blue, green, red, purple. And last row here, yellow, blue, purple, and green. I've never done that before. I scored the row shade variety bonus on all 5 vertical rows. That's 5 times 25 for another 25 points. So I crushed this one. Now this one isn't going to do too well, but it's all right because I did so well in my other categories. But next we're going to see how I scored in the column or the row shade variety. That is, not repeating values, going left to right. 6, 3, 5, 4, 4, 2, 5. That's 5 points. This row has 2 5s in it, no good. This row has 2 1s in it, that won't score, and I have 2 6s here. I only scored that part once, but that all adds up to 55 points, which beats our target score by 11 points. There you go. It must be the luck of the stream. I win. You know win. I win. This has been Colonel Hector Bravado, just doing a test stream here. After I get a look at how this sounded and looked, I'm probably going to make a few tweaks and come at it again, play more games next time. But again, I'm just getting my feet wet here. If you like podcasts with a lot of storytelling and weird tangents where I don't necessarily play the latest and hottest games, I just talk about stuff that I really like, come on over to breakupgamingsociety.com. In my last episode, I talked about how a grouchy old man, that was me, had a Christmas miracle with board gaming because I was in a hotel reuniting with another grouchy old friend of mine, and we were set upon by a wave of fun-loving kids who wanted to know how our games work, so we taught them, and it ended up being a beautiful night. Anyway, once again, I have been your friend and guide, the Colonel Hector Bravado, saying, may you fight long and well.